Have you ever been taking a drive on your local roadways and figured you could do better at designing them? Maybe you think to yourself, hey, I don't spend enough of my time in front of screens every day. Or maybe you just really like the way that cities look at night. Well, you're in luck. Look no further than Cities Skylines. Absolutely everything about this game is incredibly encapsulating, even starting at the very beginning from map selection. Once you do finally decide on what map you want to play on, you get in and you have to figure out how to lay out the start of your city. From struggling with your first roads, to earning your first milestone, everything in this game cascades into an incredibly rewarding loop. You spend a bit of time working on developing that initial plot of land. You realize that you can implement taxes in order to bolster your income a little bit. And then you get your next milestone, and the one after that, and you start realizing how fun this game is. You find yourself exploring some of the deeper mechanics, creating districts and neighborhoods that have different rules, and the next thing you know, you're unlocking another milestone and can buy a new plot of land. After some careful consideration of where to go, you decide on a new plot. Then, excitedly, you go to expand to that new plot of land, only to realize you can't actually get a highway yet. Your population isn't high enough, and to be honest, you can't really afford to build across that river at this stage. But instead of letting that discourage you, you come up with a different way to get over there. You decide, if I can't build a giant highway, I'll just build a 4-lane road across the river, and then later I'll upgrade. Admittedly, the bridge is still a little too expensive for you right now, but you can start the project and finish it up soon. Of course, being fixated on this bridge project, you might forget to recognize that a couple of the buildings in your city are on fire, but that's a problem for a little bit later. You check what the cost of building the bridge would be a couple times, and you begin to settle down and get ready to wait for the money. After finally realizing that there are buildings burning down all around you, you realize that you need to take out a loan. Having dealt with the lack of fire stations and then using the leftover money to finish up that bridge project, you finally start expanding in that new plot of land. After realizing how high of a demand for residential zoning there is, mixed with the overall lack of space in your initial plot of land, you start to de-zone all of your industry. After you're done making some room for new residents, you realize that you still need to make money somehow, so you start zoning industrial areas on the other side of the river. After dealing with some complaints from your citizens because they're quote-unquote unhappy because of an overall lack of natural beauty in the area, you hit your next milestone. This milestone lets you build an actual highway now, so you start developing that other side of the river more to create a backbone for future expansions of your city. You start working on a layout for a road that boasts both style and substance. Then, after a little bit of meticulous editing with the tools, you come up with something that you actually kind of like looking at. Even though it may not be perfect, and it certainly wouldn't be something that would stand the picking apart of an actual civil engineer, you're proud of what you made. You fix a small issue of one side of the highway being pointed in the wrong direction, and you finish the highway. And you take a second to look away from the game, and you realize 4 hours of your life has passed. But you don't regret a single second that you've spent